Shawdyy and welcome back to the channel. So you may be wondering why I've been gone for a bit. We'll get into that, but before we do, I do want to say that we're gonna do a little disclaimer here. We're gonna be pulling a Tana Mongo, and we're gonna call out a group of Twitch streamers that I knew for a little less than 4 years. Take this how you want, of course. I do want to put like a trigger warning before the video because there's mention of like grooming, drug peddling, eating disorder, misogyny, transphobia, homophobia, bigotry towards the ASD community. If you don't know what that is, it's the autism spectrum disorder. So it's basically people who have that kind of disability. To start off this story, I had joined this community back in like 2020 and I was like maybe age 16 when I had initially joined. I got the invite in from a friend actually. Right away I took the opportunity to like introduce myself, post stuff about myself, and just like say hi to the community that was there. I also joined the voice channel. If you don't know what a voice channel is for Discord, it's basically like a phone call where you can join people all across the world and not get charges for long distance. Sooner rather than later, I had the chance to talk to the server owner after being in the voice channel for so long, and things started to take a little bit of a weird turn with this server owner. I noticed rather quickly that he began to develop quite an interest in me. I was maybe age 16, but I didn't know how old they were. Other members would also be present in this voice channel while I was talking with the server owner and the other members, and they were all quite rude actually, like right away. I don't know why, but they just were. A year had passed of me being in that server and in the voice channel with like the server owner and all the members, right? And quickly the jokes began to get really weird, especially for the age that I was, like 16. It was like, no thank you. I then took a step back from their community because of like the weird ass jokes that they would make, and me being younger, I just didn't feel that comfortable with that. No thank you. At this period, the server owner actually went through like a tough period. So I reached out to them because I had already like been talking to them for so long, like maybe a year or so already. So we developed a little bit of a relationship. Relationship as in like a friendship online. So like I knew this person for quite a while already. So knowing that they went through a hard time, I reached out and I was just like, hey, like what's wrong? Like I'm always here to help you out. Like, do you want to talk about what you're going through? They opened up about what it was, and it was a breakup with like a girl online. I was like, oh, okay, no problem. So I'm here for you. I'm always a shoulder to cry on. And at this age, this man asked me out. Like by the end of that conversation, they were like, oh, well, I wish I could find someone like you. Give or take, this person was quite older than me, and I learned that a little bit before they had actually talked to me about this situation. I declined it. I was like, no thanks, I don't know you, you're all the way in buttfuck Tallahassee for all I know, so I'd rather not do that. Long distance relationships are already hard enough. After that, I just realized that I just wanted to take a step back from the community because they got really salty due to like me turning them down. I'm not gonna sit here and listen to this back talk just because I helped you deal with this situation and then I rejected you asking me out. Dog, you didn't know me? I was too young. You knew my age. It was weird. It was really weird at that point. I think at that point I made my own server on Discord and I told them like, oh, I'm gonna be making my own and I might need help. So the server owner had offered to help me out with these things. I was like, okay, well thank you, I really appreciate that, obviously being young and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So at that point, I would start joining the server's voice channel a little bit more, right? Because I told you I was taking a step back because I was making my server. But because I needed their help, I was joining in a little bit more. I was just like, hey, so I need help with this and this. They quickly got annoyed with me asking for any sort of fucking help on anything. What the fuck did I do to you? With that aggression being displayed to me, I was just like, okay, at this point, I'ma just fuck off and do it on my own. So I was a little independent girly and I got shit done on my own and I made my server. Like I said, it was a little less than 4 years. So this was going on for quite a while. So I had already been in my community. We were playing games and making inside jokes, and it was a really fun experience to go through that with them. My community, like you guys, hi, love you. After months had passed of like me being in my own community and we were making our own inside jokes, doing streams and making content of our own, I joined back sporadically into their server's voice channel and I was just like, hey, how are you guys doing? It's been a while. And quickly I realized that there was an increase in like offensive, misogynistic jokes, and if not worse. There was stuff about like transphobia and homophobia as well. Hi, I'm bisexual, so it was fucking offensive. Especially the shit they would say. They would say like the worst of the worst that they could fucking say. I'm not gonna repeat it here because we might get flagged. My point exactly. Like imagine listening to that shit. So oftentimes I would just leave because I didn't have the temperament nor the patience to deal with all of that. And after a while I did start talking back. They got so fucking angry at me that they would mute me and they would like deafen and they just wouldn't listen to anything that anybody had to say. Like this person had basically a whole group of yes men in their group at this point because they also grew their community. So I was basically ganged up on in this like voice channel every time I would call out this like server owner for their bullshit and for what they're saying and the jokes they're saying because they're hurtful. You don't want to be fucking hearing that shit on the internet these days. It's 2021. I was still aware of their like offensive media and like humor and content that they made. I had taken a hiatus because things had changed for me because I was graduating, I was moving, so either way, I didn't really want to be that active anyways because of all the shit they were saying. At this point, like I said, their community had grown quite a bit and I saw like another increase of like younger members and individuals joining their server. At the time, it wasn't a red flag because it was normal to have like a server that could have a younger group and then like older group. But of course, for them, it was quite fucking weird. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had the fucking trigger warning of, groomer. I quickly realized that this wasn't like a healthy community to have like the mix of individuals and age groups, right? Oh my god, okay, at this point, I had gotten close with a few members of their, like, community, and unfortunately, the server owner, like, didn't take kindly to that at all. They had started, like, a bandwagon effect against me because I had gotten close with their friends and their, like, community members. Like I said, they had a group of yes men already, so unfortunately, they basically told all of these motherfuckers to basically rage against me like the motherfucking machine. And so every time I would join the voice channel or anything like that, I would just get a bunch of slurs thrown at me, and unfortunately, it would be homophobic and transphobic and just basically misogynistic. It was very fucking hurtful. There was many times that I would just like mute and like deafen myself because I would fucking cry. But I'm not gonna show men that I'm fucking weak, because I'm not. Now we're going into 2022, actually. There was a shift in their interests and in their content, and they started making stuff in, like, VR chat. If you guys don't know how strange and, like, fucked up that the VR community can be sometimes, especially with, like, the minor stuff, I mean, like, if you know, you know what I mean, especially about VR chat stuff, because, like, I'm not gonna get into it much. I had noticed that there was a huge range of younger individuals joining their server and community. The youngest individual that was in there that I noticed that the server owner was communicating with was maybe age 12. These members quickly noticed his bullshit as well, basically, and they weren't having it either. Unfortunately, because the minors were joining the voice channels as well, they were hearing all of this type bullshit as well, which isn't healthy, in my opinion, for somebody who's aged like 12 to be intaking that kind of information. I got fed up so motherfucking quickly every goddamn time. So I would call them out still, and they would get angry at me. I didn't care. I handled the freaking backlash at that point because I had dealt with it for so long. So very quickly, I made it clear that I didn't want to be a part of any kind of like VR content or like even partake in that kind of game with them, especially if they were doing what they were doing with the younger children, right? So like if you're doing that with younger kids, then that's already pretty fucked up, even if it's like a virtual reality. Where's Chris Hansen when we need him? You know what I mean? Fucking come in like How to Catch a Predator. Sit down, motherfucker, sit down. Like I said, they were streaming again, right? And I was happy for them because their content wasn't like reflecting what I knew they were doing or saying, right? The state of the server had changed drastically at this point because the server owner had locked down almost every channel due to privacy reasons for the server owner to still partake in these like kind of activities and conversations with minors. But it was so we couldn't see it because unfortunately they would prey on younger women and just women in general in any game that they would play, and they would ask for their like social medias, just like Instagrams or like TikToks like that, and then start up conversations. And of course they would start it off being normal and ba-da-da-da, like, hey, how you doing, where you from, da-da-da, right? Quickly it would go downhill and get very sexual very quickly. I'm sorry, that just like pisses me off. Like there's so many fucking predators online these days, and they're still making content, and they're still like having people watch them and still being supported. I had asked the server owner or the friend of the server owner that I knew, I was like, hey, could I get like access in there? Do you mind if I come and chat again? So quickly they just gave me the perms for it. Unfortunately, things hadn't changed at that point, and they had gotten even worse than what I knew. I had noticed a trend of drug peddling. And unfortunately, the members that were in this part of the server were young. This server owner is influencing to take drugs like narcotics, alcohols. Unfortunately, because of them bragging and saying like, oh yeah, no, it's fine to do like these drugs and da-da-da, right? The server owner was basically enabling these younger individuals to take drugs such as like perks, narcotics, Xans, shrooms, and what have you, right? I'm not gonna at you, but like you know who you are, because they're a bit narcissistic, to be fucking honest with you. Arr. Anyways, army hearties, let's get into the next part, yeah? I need water after that. That's fucked up. If you're gonna play a game with this server owner through Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, anything, if you're gonna collaborate with them, I just want you to be aware that they're grooming younger children on their server and through the games that they play. Because this server owner was bribing the yes men in this group, they basically started allowing and enabling the server owner to partake in these like activities with the younger individuals in the server. Imagine keeping quiet about like your buddy's disgusting behavior just so that you don't get in trouble online. Maybe you guys just shouldn't have been doing that shit in the first place. I hope with saying all of this and sharing all of this, it helps a few of you to understand what kind of red flags there are to watch out with in like these kind of communities, because it's hard to tell what individuals you can trust and which ones you can, especially if they're not very open about their age or if they're even lying about their age online. Hopefully none of you will fall victim to any kind of manipulation or predatory bullshit within any kind of like community that you join online. Just be mindful. Be mindful. So before I had actually gotten removed from the server, I think now we're jumping into 2023. I had just been there for a while and I wasn't like active in the voice channel and I wouldn't talk as much or share as much. Every time I would call out this server owner for their predatory bullshit before I got removed, they would get so fucking offended and defensive. They were getting so sick of me actually noticing their bullshit. Eventually it came to the point where I had fought with the person who had got me into the server and the actual server owner because of like a whole situation that had happened. Due to, let's not say it, children being involved. and weird sexual activity online with minors. They had gotten so pissed off at me, they removed me from the server, they removed themselves from mine. I was just like, you know what? I don't care. I don't care. You can do that all you want. Like, I want to deal with that kind of behavior in my own server. You're lucky you didn't do that kind of bullshit in my server. You were only there because you were friends with me, and then even then you didn't care. And even then, were you even friends with me, or were you just kind of buddy-buddy because of the age I was? Or because I could be easily manipulated. All of the individuals that the server owner ends up meeting, they end up using and leeching for all of their skills and talents, basically being like, oh, do all this for me, until this person doesn't want to do it anymore. And then again, it's a hate bandwagon. Like, I don't know why that's the kind of defensive reaction of this, like, server owner, but it is what it is. Prior to just being, like, aware online, this server owner has actually threatened my life and a few other individuals in the server if we came out about this kind of bullshit. I haven't mentioned the worst of the worst that they have done yet. I don't know if I should yet. No, I think we're gonna get into it a little bit. It's also known that they engaged in illegal activity online. It's like, it's hard to explain because I don't want to say it because of the threat to my life, basically. But this server owner did partake in actual illegal activity. With that all being said, that's my experience within this community. Please watch out for these signs with these kinds of jokes and media and content. You don't want to consume that kind of media all the time because it does do some fuck shit with your head and your brain, so just be careful what you're actually, like, watching and engaging with. Also, be careful with the people that you're talking to. I just want to say, like, you don't know and you can't trust that they're gonna tell you their actual age all the time. I mean, there is no other way to help that, especially in public communities like that. The best I can say is don't chat specifically with these people and share content that isn't going to share any of your personal information. That's my experience. Hopefully you can take this as a sign and learn from it. And hopefully this won't give these individuals a platform because already they don't really have much anymore because of this shit. That being said, I'm glad I called them out, and if you're in the comment section yapping up and trying to fucking backtalk me, then you're fucking dog water. L. You're a fucking L human. L bozo, motherfucker. I really want to diss this motherfucker. Basically, this server owner is the scum of the earth, and please be very, very, very cautious of who you're sharing your information with and who you're engaging with online. And that being said, welcome back, and I hope that content will start being more consistent for everybody, because I have a lot of ideas in mind, and there's a lot more to come. But until then, I will see you in the next video. Bye!